All right, it is 3:32. So, welcome and thank you for joining our launch of ZOCCAM. We are pleased that you took the time to attend today. So, this is going to be some really exciting stuff that we're just over bubbling, ready to share it with you guys. And we appreciate you doing this with us virtually. It's such a kind of different time that we're in. So, we're trying to make as much noise with this as we can. So, ZOCCAM. So anyone who's been in the industry long enough knows the influence that technology has really had on our industry's productivity, the way we communicate, the way we run our day-to-day business. And that's why this launch of ZOCCAM is so exciting. Our industry continues to evolve for the better and come out with all these really great tools that help us be better real estate agents, help us as title company better serve you, and ZOCCAM is just another tool in that toolbox. So we're really stoked about it. All right. So ZOCCAM, it's essentially a mobile app that can be downloaded from your Google Play if you have an Android or the App Store if you have an iPhone. The app basically acts as a virtual courier. So it helps buyers send EMD from anywhere at any time. So instead of them needing to go to the bank, drop off a check, they can now essentially deposit escrow funds right from their phone, which is really, really exciting for them and for you. So before we jump into the how-to, let's look at why ZOCCAM is a game changer. So first off, data protection and liability. So I don't know about you guys, but there is nothing scarier than driving around in the world, out there in the universe, with a check for, let's just say, $10,000. It could be lost. Even worse, it could get stolen. So I know you've all had that kind of anxiety feeling walking around with that check or that money. It's scary. ZOCCAM eliminates that. You don't even need to walk out of the house with that $10,000 check anymore. So again, we're protecting our clients. We're reducing that liability that we have. It also is optimizing the closing experience. So orders are opened as soon as that escrow money is received. It's part of the EMD, and it can be deposited again anywhere at any time. So it's opened simultaneously. And again, for your clients, they can be eating dinner and doing it at the dinner table, having a cup of coffee. They can be at work. They can be in the comfort of their home. And it just speeds up the sales cycle much faster than traditional methods. And we're going to get a little bit more into that in a minute. The other thing it does is it helps save money, and it helps you as a real estate agent be more profitable. So as an agent, you're basically self-employed, right? So, but just like a real life employee, each hour is equivalent to a dollar amount. So by having this app, it helps you cut and reduce that time that it would take for you to help coordinate, a pickup of a check, or, going to the bank and telling them what they need to do and then having it dropped off. So basically, the profitability part comes from you saving time. And when you save time, you can take that time and you can focus it more on revenue generating tasks. What's going to get you that next deal? So that's something, I think if you were to look at it into three buckets, this is what we would connect it to. But to be honest, it gets even more in depth with that. So if we dig a little deeper, we know that time is of the essence with any transaction. We all learned that in real estate class. Time is of the essence. We have deadlines that we have to make in order to hold up to our end of the contract. And the EMD is really the buyer's first good faith act, right? So it's important to the success of the deal that is done in time. If it's not done in time, it could die, right? So it really helps you, again, being able to do it anywhere at any time. You can avoid going to the bank, right? Because the banks are only open on certain times. You can avoid dropping by a Sunbelt office because those are only open, during business hours. And we can be very accommodating, but at the end of the day, at 10 o'clock at night, if someone gets off, that might be a little tough to accommodate. But now we can accommodate that with ZOCCAM. The other thing is, keep in mind, is we all have personal and professional lives. So you might have a buyer who has to work during those core hours that the banks are open and the officers are open. They might have children, and it might be a hassle to get 5 kids into the car with masks on and get them to go fulfill these obligations. Because our customers, they do have jobs and they have obligations and responsibilities. And honestly, getting that EMD is such a time crunch that, it's kind of a hassle. The other thing it does is it can eliminate drive times. So if you look at it this way, overall, ZOCCAM is just more convenient for not just you, but also for your buyers. Okay. All right. So the other thing that's going to be great about ZOCCAM is it's about enhancing the customer experience that you guys, as real estate agents, are offering to your clients. So you are already digital professionals. So you might be thinking, I'm not really a tech savvy agent. Hey, that's not true. Stop. You are a digital professional, because I can guarantee you, out of all of these little icons up here on the screen, you know a couple of them, right? So you've been using these tools at your fingertips the whole time. And the addition to ZOCCAM within these tools, it's really just natural progression here. And it also shows that you're a real estate agent who can adapt to technology. And even some of the most old school successful agents out there, they know that there is a need to adapt and evolve, and it's for the better of their clients. Not to mention, and I just did a class on this not long ago, is that right now, if you look at the buyer, the market, and who's buying homes, it's the millennial buyer. Right now, they are the biggest pool of buyers. So offering them convenient and digital solution, it's going to be something they expect. And when I say that enhance the digital experience, it really is at every touch point. So right now you're already doing your listing presentations with, iPhones and laptops and tablets. You have apps to do title estimates. You're doing contracts with Dotloop and DocuSign. There's tons of stuff. And even with the closing, remote online closings that we're doing now, it's really just the entire virtual experience. Now, unless you're living under a rock, you know that how we do business right now looks very differently. How we live our lives is very different than it was 6 months ago. And I'm not even going to say the word, you all know why that is. Now, you all have, I think we're all at different stages in our COVID-19, I said it, sorry, exploration, where some of us feel more comfortable than others. You may feel comfortable going to a grocery store, or going to walk around the mall, or going to a restaurant to eat, or going into a Sunbelt title office. But not all your clients might feel comfortable with that. So how awesome is that now with ZOCCAM, you can say, hey, with confidence, we can keep you safe. We have this really great opportunity to go ahead and do this with your phone on your app. It'll only take a few minutes. And guess what? You can virtually buy a home now. It's kind of weird and awesome all at the same time. So that's some exciting stuff. So keep that customer experience in mind. Now, with ZOCCAM bringing so much kind of value to your customers, it's a no-brainer that you as a real estate agent should be marketing this. You need to scream it from the rooftops, because it is, again, a game changer. So consider adding ZOCCAM to your buyer presentations. It's another way to show that you are flexible, you bring value, the partners that you work with, such as Sunbelt Title, bring value, and we're all about making it convenient and easy for you. Add it to your listing presentations. I know that you might be saying, well, that's not really applicable. No, but it is, because if you're listing a home, and when you find the buyer of the home, you have a quick, no stress way of saying, hey, Mr. Buyer, why don't you use Sunbelt Title, and you can go ahead and deposit the funds just from your phone. No big deal. Pretty easy peasy. And then your sellers are going to actually sleep a little bit better, knowing that they don't have to be nervous about that, the buyer not getting the money in time, because it's, again, convenient, safe, and innovative way. The other thing I would suggest you do is promote on social media. So agents are all over social media. And what's separating you guys apart? The value add that you are offering. So get on there, talk about how easy it is to buy a home, to deposit those funds, that you're adapting technology. We have some great social media images that we can be happy to send to you that will help with that. And then at the end of the day, when it's all said and done and you've gone through and gave the client this great, amazing experience from EMD deposit all the way to your remote online close, go get a testimonial, because that testimonial is going to help basically you get other clients, right? It's going to help you get referrals. It's going to be able to say, hey, look, this is a great, great time we had here. No hiccups, smooth move. Yes, use me, Mr. Joe, the real estate agent. So have a little fun with it. But remember, this is a value add that you can be marketing. Now, again, we're all here to help you, right? So let's be partners in business. So let us help you market it. Again, we can hook you up with some of the branded social media images and things that you can do there. I would also suggest that you reach out to your local Sunbelt representative, because they can do co-branded flyers. So, you know, the Sunbelt rep would have their name and information on one side, then you can have your Caldwell Banker and your Century 21, wherever you're affiliated, and your information on the other side of the flyer. Not only is this a great marketing piece, but this is also instructions for them and how easy it is to work. Literally, the step-by-step instructions you see on these flyers, that's what you do, and it's boom, done. So we could get it all in one page and have room to put faces and contact information. That's pretty exciting. So tap into us and let us help you market this. Okay. So we're going to get ready to jump into the tutorial on how it works. One of the things you're going to see here is where the process goes from literally left to right. So from when you create your account to you sign in, to you capture the money and you pick your title company, to being able to deposit that with capturing the check, all the way through to the very right picture, which is success, ZOCCAM, the earnest money has been submitted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop out of this screen for a moment, and I am going to pop over to something else for you. So let's see. Give me 1 second. All right. So what we're going to go through here is the way that you can come up here and register. So it's pretty easy. Again, look, this video right that I'm about to play is only a minute long. So here we go. All right, they downloaded ZOCCAM. Now he's going to hit sign up. So first name, last name, email, phone number. Pretty easy, right? The state that you're in. And then it's at the bottom there, it's going to say professional license. That's for if you guys are real estate agents. You can go ahead and put your license in there. If a buyer is doing this, there's no need. The phone number, email address, and this basic data will do. So it's going to go through. And again, the other cool thing is you can add your little photo at the top if you like to have pretty, you know, your face everywhere, like doing your branding. That's kind of a little fun ad. So he clicked here to indicate you've read the user agreement and hit confirm. You see that text message up there at the top? That is a code that is authenticating that person, right? Because it knows who you are and is connecting. Now you're creating your 8-digit personal code. This person's using 8888888, which is obviously not very secure. But boom, just like that, you are registered. Okay, so that's all you have to do to register. Now what we're going to do is we're going to jump into how the system works. So here we go. We can start by opening ZOCCAM. And you've previously registered for ZOCCAM. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put in our mobile number and our password. Now, it will ask you to sign in every time. That is a security feature. We don't want anybody in. Oh, ooh, something's happening. Oh, we're just trying to make sure you guys are awake. I hope that worked. All right, I was wondering. All right, so we put in our password and we're logged in, and it's pretty much where we left off on the first video. So let's go ahead and we're going to hit capture. And you to sign in every time. That is a security feature. We don't want anybody in here stealing your identity and getting a hold of it, so it will ask you to log in every time you close the window. Now what we're going to do that we're logged in, we're going to hit capture. We're going to choose earnest money. And we're going to start by typing in Sunbelt and Sunbelt title. So when we select it, it's going to confirm that that is the title company that we want to use. So we're going to go ahead and hit OK to confirm. Now, when you set up this the app initially and did your first sign up, it asked if it could have permission to see your location. And if you gave it permission, it will pull up the closest list of Sunbelt title companies in your region. So you should see the office you're familiar with pretty quickly on. However, if you don't see the one that you're trying to find, you can type in the city. I started typing in Orlando, and you see that 2 of our Orlando offices popped up there to give me an option for that. So I'm going to go ahead and select the Sand Lake office, and it's going to want me to confirm that, because is that the office doing my transaction? And I'm going to say, okay, yes, it is. All right, now it's going to ask us for the property address. So I'll go ahead and type that in. And then we're going to pick our state, 34677. And then we're going to put in our check amount. And then typically, we're going to most all the time hit contract already sent. Your buyers will be doing it, and most of the time what ends up happening is you guys forward the contract on using your DocuSign, your .loop, or just emailing it over. So now what we're going to want to do is we're going to put in, oh, wait, what is that? It's a prompt to confirm that we are actually depositing $10,000. Yes, that is correct. That is what we're going to deposit today. So I am the buyer, Kara McHenrick at gmail.com. I'm going to go ahead and put in my information. Then I'm going to put in the seller's information. Okay, now I do not necessarily need the seller's email address. I only need my email address so that I can get the confirmation. If you have, or they have, whoever is filling this out, the information for the buyer and listing agent, they can also have an option to put that in, as well as their email addresses, so that they get the notification that this was successfully sent. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to capture. And this is what's going to happen. So it's going to give you the opportunity to take a check, just like if you've ever deposited a check with your mobile banking, and take a photo of the front and back of that check. Now, we're not going to go much further because we don't want to send a $10,000 check to our Sand Lake office, but that would then give you the prompt to go ahead, submit it, and you will get a success confirmation both on your screen and via email. All right, so as you can see, it's really easy. The cool thing too is there are prompts on this screen. Like I was playing with it the other day and I forgot to put the state in. It said, hey, you need a state there. There's a prompt that I didn't put my email address in correctly, and I didn't put the first and seller, the seller's first name in. So it's going to prompt your customers to say, hey, you're almost there, but confirm this or add that. So it's kind of really foolproof in a bit of a way to help you. And then the other thing that I want you to note is that, let me bring my presentation back up. All right. So this is that screen. Again, when you went through and you took a picture of that check, you're going to get this success. That's how you're going to know. And you're also going to get an email directly to your email address. So that's something to just kind of directly confirm. Now, if you are the buyer's agent, I would highly encourage them to put you as their information in there with your email so that you are getting a notification of that deposit. That way you know it was done and done correctly. The other thing to note is actually, give me one second here, in that co-branded flyer, there is, right, those instructions there with the branch name. So again, we're trying to make this as easy for you as possible. This brings tons of opportunity to you, what you can offer your clients, and just getting things done a little faster, a little bit more convenient, safer, and technology and industry forward. So don't fall behind. This is a great program. We hope you'll use it. If you have any questions, feel free to go up into the upper right-hand corner and you should see a chat box. So you can go ahead and start typing your questions in there. I am going to ask, I have Tammy Hancock, who is one of our service gurus here at Sunbelt Title, and I have Sean Hooker, who is our VP of Sales on the line. If they have anything to add, and then I think we're going to go ahead and jump into your questions. Sean, Tammy.
Hi, Kara. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Wonderful. I just wanted to quickly add that we have been running this program now for a few weeks, and we've had, I believe at this point, more than 100 deposits made with ZOCCAM, and I haven't had any issues whatsoever come across my desk. So it's something that really is smooth and seamless and works fantastically. So if you have any reservations about thinking that it would be, that there would be some issue with it not getting credited or something like that, it really just works marvelously. So I'm thrilled with it and really excited because we've not had any catastrophes. We have not had any lost deposits or anything like that. So I just wanted to say, yoo-hoo, this really does work.
Awesome. Thank you, Tammy.
Yes, I couldn't agree more, Tammy. I'll tell you, with ZOCCAM, this virtual carrier service is what this is. But at EMD, we are constantly talking about cybersecurity, so on and so forth. And EMD is a direct line deposit. It goes straight from one to the other. It doesn't pass through a wire department. It doesn't pass through anybody else's hands. So it really is instantaneous. So it truly is a very protected form of doing this deposit. And the fact that you actually get the instantaneous confirmation, it's letting you know that it made it right to the person that you were hoping that it would make it to. So no more waiting to see, did the wire go through or did the wire not go through, or waiting for the check to be driven down there. Are they taking it at lunch, or did they have something at work come up? So this, to me, this is a absolutely wonderful app. It will save time and stress for both your buyers and your sellers, as well as yourselves. The last thing I want to say in this is we live in the state of Florida, and I'm sure many of you are dealing with a lot of second home buyers or vacation home buyers or people moving from out of state. So what an incredible tool that you can really explain somebody how to utilize within a minute to use when we're dealing with that deposit. On our contracts, most of the time, those contracts, that escrow deposit is due within the first 3 days. And a lot of contracts are written over the weekend. So we're dealing with a situation where how are we going to try to get this money over to the Sunbelt Title as quickly as possible? And if you're dealing with somebody out of state, or you're dealing with somebody who is buying even within the state, but buying from a couple hours away, just a vacation home or a second home or something like that, how do they do that? They're going to have to overnight, which incurs a cost, or they're going to have to wire, which incurs a cost. This does not incur a cost. It's simple confirmation right there, instantaneous. So really, this is, and one more thing, I can just make one more thing.
Go
and
for it. It's all good stuff, Sean.
How this releases kind of all of that stress and liability on your part when you guys know that the buyer has specifically performed that first duty, the escrow deposit, and you get that instantaneous confirmation that it's been done and you don't have to worry. It comes to you in your email, so when you're selling your next house, you can see that your buyer from your last house has already made their deposit. So I truly think this is a wonderful tool. I think as you guys begin to use it, it's going to be one of those things kind of like the smartphone. Didn't have one. We had flip phones. We had the wonderful phones with the 2-pound batteries on them back in the day. Now we have a smartphone and we don't know how we did it without it. ZOCCAM, I believe, is going to be the same thing. Remember the days when we used to have to drive around to get deposits and go try to get them in within 2 days, or have the overnight and track it, or wires? I think within a short period of time, we're gonna be telling funny stories about how we used to try to get escrow deposits in, and now how ZOCCAM has become that easy.
Absolutely, Sean, and he makes some great points there. It's awesome. I mean, the future is here. I mean, I'm sitting here broadcasting live from my home office. I mean, how crazy is that? And again, his point about out-of-state buyers and second home buyers, that's a huge thing, especially here for Florida. So, Melanie, I'm going to pass it to you. Do we have any questions?
We do, Kara. Thank you. The first question is, can I push a text message to my client with a link to download the app? Now, Anna Marie has already provided in the Q&A box a link for the Apple, but I do think that might be something that you might want to send out to all of the agents for.
Oh my goodness. I love that, love that, love that. Amazing question. And Anna Marie, thank you for jumping right on that. The answer is yes, absolutely. And you know what? Maybe what we do, and again, that we're all in this together, this is something new for us too, that we add that to the marketing, right? I think we could create a cool little graphic and a little step-by-step guide to help you guys know how to do that. So let's absolutely add that. I'll make a note right now.
I agree, Kara. I think that would be a great idea.
Awesome.
That note, we do have kind of an issue. She said, I'm trying to register and I am stuck after I put in my license number. It sends me a code, but it does not give me a place to enter that code.
So that is interesting. I really wish that we were on a platform right now where I could share my phone with you, because it should be okay. You put in it and you hit register, and then the code pops up to you via text, and then it's right in that right in the app that you would put that code in there while you're on the registration box. What my first suggestion for you would be to go to forgot password and try to log in that way and see if you can get another code. But if not, you can reach out to myself or your representative, and we will get on the phone and do a one-on-one with you for sure.
It's possible that the code is getting hidden behind a screen. So I would definitely second your suggestion to reach out to their local rep. We were also asked, this app is just for our buyers and not for us as agents.
That is correct. Your buyers should be depositing their funds on this app. Sean, Tammy, do you guys want to elaborate on that?
Well, yeah. I mean, how I can describe this with this question is that this is a virtual courier service, is what it is. And I guess my question back is, do you currently deposit for your customers? If you're currently doing that, if you're currently picking up checks from them and delivering them down there, effectively, if you're going over there to pick up the check, then you could technically just have them download the app and walk them through and have them do the deposit right then and there. So I guess that's the question, is if you're doing this and you're having to pick that check up and bring it over, at the point of picking it up, you could just follow through with the whole ZOCCAM deposit right then, and then you essentially the delivery is complete. So I know this question is whether or not it's for buyers or agents. But truthfully, technically, what you're going to find out is that this kind of alleviates you from having to do it, from having to go pick that check up and take it to the Sunbelt title. This really, it does basically become the buyer's responsibility. It is on the contract, but it really kind of puts it in their hand. If you're with them, you can walk them through it, and it takes a minute, and it kind of it takes that liability out from you. The other thing I would say is you talk to your broker regarding this. I mean, this is not a decision by Sunbelt Title or ZOCCAM on who can or cannot make this deposit. It's really the liability and responsibility that you have, and whether or not your broker wants you to take on the responsibility, pardon me, of delivering a check. If they don't want you to take on the responsibility of delivering a check, then this absolutely helps you.
Absolutely. I think Sean hit the nail on the head. You're 100% correct. I definitely talk to your broker because there's things you should and should not be doing. But this app is here to get that money to us as fast as possible from anywhere at any time. So I think talk with your broker. Is this the right app for you no matter what? Absolutely. You'll notice that when I was going through the walkthrough of the actual using the app, that was actually a pre-recording. So we've made a point to have these recordings available to you, which you can then in turn share with your client if you need that extra coaching on how to get it done.
Thank you. I was choked up there.
I heard that.
So excited about ZOCCAM. We do have a question from Nita. She's asking, are you going to send an email with the instructions of how to set up after we download the app?
Absolutely.
I believe that was the brochures you were showing.
Yep, absolutely. 100% correct with that. It is the little brochures. It'll go and take you and your clients through every step from the registration process all the way through to capturing the earnest money deposit.
Question, what if the buyer has their own attorney to hold escrow?
Ooh, that is beyond my thing. So I'm going to let you guys, maybe Tammy, jump in on that one.
They don't have ZOCCAM. They should have ZOCCAM and use Sunbelt.
They should have ZOCCAM, right?
They're going to have to go drive it down to their own attorney. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Sorry. Was my mute off? It
was off. I was trying to not. Yeah, good job, Sean. So that's the answer. Is that your attorney is missing a good opportunity here, and you should encourage all of your people to do it here through Sunbelt.
This question is a little bit back on can the agents do it? It says, for clients who don't use cell phones or are afraid of technology, is there any reason why we cannot do it for them on our phones?
There's no reason you cannot. If you're sitting there right with them and you're right next to them and you're putting their email address on, I would definitely talk to your broker, but it's not always dependent on whose vessel it is. It's just getting that information in there and getting it out. So kind of as Sean said, if you're driving over to pick up that check historically or to kind of do something that you used to do with them and guide them through it, it's just as simple as guiding them through it with your phone instead of theirs. All right, we got any other questions in there?
Yes, this is an excellent kind of techie question here. Asked if a client can take a picture of a check and deposit it that way. This is where the safeguards come in.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to have Sean and Tammy elaborate a little bit on that. And I guess my first response, and this is, again, my gut response, is no. So if you were to take a picture of a check and try to deposit it into your bank account, would that work? Probably not. This utilizes that same technology that your Bank of America, our M&T, our Chase account would use. But Sean, Tammy, am I off base there?
To be honest, Kara, I'm not too sure if a picture would work. But what I do know is that a check cannot be deposited twice. So
That's
let's
true.
say, for instance, your client sent you a picture and said, "Hey, could you do this?" And then somehow figures out how to do it themselves, and then you turn around and try to do it again. The system knows via the account number and the checking account number, as well as the bank number, routing number. The system knows that check is trying to be deposited twice and will not let you deposit that check. So, to answer the question as far as whether or not you can do a picture of a picture, have not tried it, and I haven't seen or heard anybody who has tried it and been successful or unsuccessful. But what I do know is that if somebody did try to do it and try to do it again, that the system would not allow it to happen.
And what I do know is that we will figure out that answer and maybe put together a FAQ sheet for you guys to kind of help answer questions like that.
Kara, this is Tammy.
Hey,
I'm assuming that question was asked because they're wondering if, a customer can try to defraud the system. And I would like to just remind everyone that, remember, this is just a bank deposit. So these funds still have to clear, even though they're uploading a copy of the check. If there's not enough funds in the account to pay the check, then the check is going to be returned non-sufficient funds, the same way that a physical check would be. So just remember that although this is simply a deposit method, it's a depository method, and those checks still have to clear through the issuing bank and the receiving bank. So any of our protocol in place for time periods for checks to clear, all of that still is in place. This is just a depository method. So if someone tried to defraud by trying to deposit a picture of a check, then it probably would get returned back, just like Sean said, especially if that check had already been deposited once before. So just kind of want to clear that up and make sure that everybody remembers it's just like depositing it down with a teller. You're just doing away with that human aspect, and we still do have to wait for those checks to clear.
Great, thank you, Tammy. All right, Miss Melanie, anything else in the chat box?
I think Tammy actually just sort of answered this. The question is, can closing funds be sent this way?
Yeah, and we cannot take closing funds through ZOCCAM unless we have enough time for those to clear. And currently it is 10 days minimum for a check to clear. So, so we're leaving it to only earnest money at this time. I'm not saying that won't change in the future, but at this time, the deposits are strictly for earnest money.
Thank you, Tammy. Two more quick questions and lots of compliments.
Yay.
One question is, what is the difference, I guess, or the benefits versus a wire transfer? Why would you use ZOCCAM instead of a wire?
Ooh, who wants to take that question?
I'll be happy to take that question as well. And I think that it is more secure than us having to get wire instructions to a buyer through an email situation. So it is a more secured, the buyer's in charge. They're not waiting for somebody to send them wire instructions. So that's one advantage. And the second advantage is a lot of banks charge their customers to send a wire. So they're doing away with any charges that would be incurred when doing a wire. And I just personally, I think that it's just more secure than us trading wire information and things like that because of all the wire fraud going on. So I just think it's safer myself.
Tammy, as well as it's not limited with the bank hours. So if you're doing a wire, you're limited with bank hours. Whereas if you do ZOCCAM, you can do that after bank hours.
Awesome. All right, team, we got one. One more question here.
We actually had a few more come in if we have time. A couple more follow-ups with regard to the being able to do the closing funds. They just wanted to clarify that even though the app says you can send closing funds, that is not accurate for now because of the timing. And then a follow-up to that was, what about for additional deposits, second deposits?
So I can talk about the closing funds. Actually, if you go through and you know how you had to select the Sunbelt branch, if you go through and try to submit the closing funds through the app, it's actually disabled. So it won't let you actually submit anything through that. I will let the additional funds, I believe you can still do that. Tammy, Sean, is that correct? Someone's on mute.
Yes, secondary deposits.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
awesome.
those are, you can absolutely do those.
Perfect.
Yeah, as long as it's listed as an earnest money deposit, it wouldn't matter if they had to make 2 of them or 5 of them, we would take them. Again, just so long as we have enough time for those checks to clear.
Yeah, keep the time of the essence in your, all the same rules apply here that we're fashioned to and familiar with as far as timelines go. But yes, that closing fund should be disabled, and then yes, the AMD and the.
All right, now we really will limit it to just these last 2.
Okay, you sure? We can get to all of the questions another time.
Exactly.
Hopefully you put your name in there. We get a Q&A printout. So if you did not put your name in there and you want to have a response to your question sometime very soon, let us know who you are so that we can get back in touch with you and get you that answer.
This one's actually more of a request to clarify when the realtors will receive the verification of deposit.
So the realtors will only receive that verification of deposit if their buyer puts them and their email address on this slide right here. So the second one from the right, see where it says buyer agent, seller agent. Your information has to be put there in order to get the notification.
And why are we taking a photo of the back of the check if it's not endorsed?
That is a great question, and one I don't know the answer to. I assume it would need to be endorsed, but
I'm sorry, I can answer that. I believe I know the answer to
Go
it.
for it, Tam.
Anytime that a check is run through a scanner for a deposit with a teller, or even at our Sunbelt offices, when we run them through that scanner, there's a code that is imprinted on the back of that check. It's like some little tiny numbers, but it is coded, and it just shows that that check's already been paid.
Awesome.
I didn't know that.
I learned something too, and that's why we had Sean and Tammy on this call to help us with that. So Melanie, are we at time?
Yeah, we are definitely a little bit over time, yes.
Okay.
And I will send the last few questions over to y'all for answering later or in the follow-up materials.
Okay, great. Well, big shout out to Tammy and Sean for joining me on the panel today, and an even bigger shout out to Melanie for being, our host of the Q&A and doing all the magic on the back end to make sure that you can see me and see my screen and all that fun stuff. So we look forward to working with you guys, helping ZOCCAM grow your business, making it convenient for you and your agent or your buyers to buy and sell homes. Look for more emails, reach out to your sales local Sunbelt representative, and let's make it happen. All right, you guys have a great rest of the day. Bye.
Thank you.